what a great interview today with Colton. If you guys are wondering what you can do with your future, whether you went to college, have not gone to college, there's a lot of options available to you out there that I don't think the school system has done justice to and allowed us the opportunity to get involved with them. As you can see with Colton today, he has been able to not only get involved in the community and change other people's lives, he's been able to change his family's lives, and those opportunities are available to you. I'm Andrew Dumas, going to be the host of the No College Podcast. As you can see, lots of college debt racking up for a lot of your friends. We have Colton
Reinhardt.
Yeah, Colton here with us today. So introduce yourself, Colton. Tell us where you're from and a little bit about yourself.
So I actually originally I'm originally from Amarillo, Texas. After my mother passed away when I was a youngster, my aunt actually moved me and my siblings down here to live with her and her husband. You know, as you know, I grew up same parts you guys did. Me and Shorty went to school together all the way from elementary through high school, ended up graduating together. And as you know, I work for you, so I mean that's what I've been up to.
So let's go back a little bit. So how old were you when your mother passed away, and what did she pass away from, Colton, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, not a problem. So I was 3.5 when she passed away. My mother had eye cancer that spread from her eye to the rest of her body, affected her brain immediately, obviously that being next to the eye. You know, that was the battle that she fought ever. She got diagnosed when I was 1, so I spent the majority of my young age on a plane back and forth from Amarillo to Indy Anderson in Houston for her to get treatment. And then, you know, she passed away on February 9th of 2004. And in 2005, my aunt, you know, my mother decided that she wanted me and my siblings to stay with my aunt because my aunt, you know, takes care of her business. So she moved us down here to Fort Worth with our, at the time, her husband, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. You know, he worked for BNSF, had a pretty solid job, and could take care of all of us.
The railroad, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. So, you know, whenever we came down here, you know, life was gravy. We had started our new school. I started school down here because I just turned 6. My birthday's late, so I started a little bit earlier or later than everybody else. I went through my whole school in Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD, all the way from kindergarten until I graduated.
And let me ask you, Colton, when you moved going up through school, that presented some challenges, I guess.
Big
living
time.
with your aunt and, you know,
yeah,
not
so
having
like for
mom
me,
and dad around.
you know, my mother obviously had passed, and then my real dad is he's got a methamphetamine problem. He's addicted to that, and has never really been around. So when I moved down here, you know, for those first 5 or 6 years, so fast forward a little bit, by the time I was 11, my aunt and uncle decided to get a divorce, and I was the only kid left at the house because of the age difference between me and my siblings. So, you know, my aunt was working multiple jobs, as you know,
Sure.
2 or 3 jobs at a time just to try to keep the lights on for us, which, you know, I think are, you know, by all means so thankful for her that, because I wouldn't be here where I am today without her help. Sure. Because she made that possible. You know, but I was really going through life without any sense of direction. You know, didn't know what I wanted to do. Besides, I wanted to play football. You know, so going through school, you know, your teachers always ask you, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?" Well, I want to be, I want to play football. Well, don't you have a backup? No, backups. I always thought backups are for losers. If I have a backup, it's okay to fail because I have a backup. So I never went with the backup. You know, I always had that. Oh, I'm tough. You know, it's not going to happen to me. Well, it happened to me, you know, when I was 17. So I shattered my leg in 8 different spots, had a couple steel rods put in there, a couple pins, a couple plates. And, you know, got some news that I, you know, wasn't prepared to hear because, you know, I worked since I was probably 11 years old. My brother actually played college football, and, you know, the sibling competition you have.
Sure.
It's
Where do you play ball at, Colton?
My brother played football at North Texas. He was a tight end. So
graduate, get a degree, all that stuff.
Yeah, so he's actually graduated 100%. Graduated 100% with a master's in business because after he got medically retired, they continued to pay for his school to get his master's. So he's actually a operations manager for Mr. Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
So when the injury happened and it kind of sidetracked you from everything and the direction you thought you were headed, you know, Was school still in your future, thinking about going to school and playing ball, or did you think something
So
differently?
immediately after, the injury for me, it was more serious to everybody, because it wasn't just the injury for me. It was like my future was like gone just like that. I can remember breaking my leg, getting loaded into the ambulance, and one of the last things it says, all the stuff I've worked for is gone. It's taken away just like that. Because, if college is going to pay for you to go to school for 4 years, you better be able to play for them. So as being business motivated, I understand it, but it really kind of like took me back and kind of like humbled me for a second, because like I said, no, nothing's bad. I've already been through all the bad stuff. All the bad stuff happened when I was young. The rest is gravy. It's all good from here. And it kind of humbled me per se. As soon as I realized that football was out of the question, I was like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I started, doing little side jobs here, because at that point in life I wasn't really at that point in my life I wasn't proud of myself because of the place I had put myself in with that injury. It was a bad place. So I was doing stuff, I wasn't really proud of myself to do. So when I got back into connection with you, because I was doing the right thing, it really brought to me that, hey, this is an opportunity that you have. May not be the one you wanted, but the end goal of what this job and this opportunity that I can do was 100% gave me exactly what I was looking for. I just had to change the route that I was going.
And with your brother, Wiley, he went to a D1 school, North Texas, and he went on a full ride football scholarship, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he was really good in high school.
Yep.
Okay, so he went and done that. My assumption is, because how much older is Wiley than you?
He is 6 years older than I am.
Okay, so 6 years older. So my assumption is you were really looking up to him, being your big brother, because I know he still holds a lot of records at the high school and stuff, and then he went off to college, and you probably wanted to follow in those footsteps.
I didn't really have any direction as far. I was lost when my uncle and aunt divorced. My brother was at school. My sister was at school. I was always home by myself and didn't really have anybody to look towards.
That's why you spent so much time at my house, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm like, hey, there's free meal, free food. I can take a shower. I can sleep,
And you
cool,
can eat
I'm
too.
set, I can eat. So I'm like, I'm set. But with my brother being gone, I really had nobody left to like look forward to. So I'm really glad, for the blessing that's been put in my life of where you come in, because as a person today, all I know from what I know is all based on two men, my brother and you. And honestly, you outshine my brother because you're twice the age of my brother. You got more experience. You know more stuff. And that's actually one of the main reasons I love my job, is because he took a kid you didn't know nothing about, didn't know, you didn't have to do anything, the stuff you did for me. So the respect I have for you on that level is, I'll walk through a brick door for you, whatever you need me to do. I'll try my hardest to do it, because of the type of person you are.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. So what kind of money are you making these days, Colton, and have you made the past year or two since joining forces with the organization you're with now? So what kind of money are you accustomed to making?
So I'm 22. I graduated. Obviously, when I graduated, I was 18.
And
I
what
did
year
the
was
math. 2019.
2019. Okay.
I graduated early because I didn't like school. Didn't really keep my attention span, so I wanted to be out in the world and doing stuff. So I graduated a little early, but I'm technically class of 2018, but I was done in 2018. Or technically class of 2019, but I was done in 2018.
Okay.
The first semester of school, I was done. Sorry, remind me.
And how much money are you
so since that time, through my bank accounts, there's been over $1 million in the past 4 years that have come in through that from this job that I do.
So let me get this straight. So since high school to now, being 22 years of age, you have run $1 million through your personal bank accounts, what you're telling me.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's impressive. Great job. So with that being said, your brother graduated from UNT, full ride scholarship with a master's degree. What kind of money do you think he's making there at Amazon working for Mr.
Actually, I know
Bezos?
because me and him just went out yesterday and we're sitting talking about, how our life's going and what we want to do with our life. Well, So he calls me. He's like, "Hey, bro, I just got a bonus." He calls me yesterday. "Hey, I just got my raise." I'm like, "Cool." So he's going over the details, and he's like, and my brother, keep in mind, my brother probably works more than I do. He's a manager, so he's not on salary, or he's on salary. He's not on hourly.
So he's always busy.
He's always working. And he's like, "Yeah, they gave me an extra $25,000 on my salary, so he's making $125,000, but they threw in 140 stocks. Amazon stocks. It's a decent amount of money." Yeah. But, comparison of like me and my brother, like the way we are as far as because of the opportunities that we have, the way we look at stuff is completely different. Like to my brother, if like something bad happens and, it's $5,000 or whatever, sends him to like a complete like shock.
He's got a budget for it.
Yeah, he's got a budget for it, get for it. Same thing with my aunt. And the way I view it as, all right, cool, I just need to go sell a roof, there's my 5 Gs I need, just like that. It's very different, and you carry yourself differently from the people that aren't, that have worked, that do all this work, get this degree. Thankfully for my brother, he didn't have to pay for it because his skills did. But honestly, if you ask my brother, hey, would you have probably went to school if you weren't playing ball? Probably not. He'd probably be a diesel mechanic because that was his original goal, was to do that. But the conversations or and how we view things and the corporate, like the big difference between like how that type of business is run and how a business that isn't really taught anywhere else, because there's not people opening doors hands and fists for you to come teach roofing. It's just not, it's not a thing, because most of them are jackholes in this business. So my brother says, he's like, "Man, you got this guy that's willing to show you how to make all this money." He said, he says, "I never had that opportunity, even in college. The college professors that are supposed to be these big, wigs of so successful, they're not even making much as my 22-year-old brother does." This is a conversation we had last night. And, I said, and eventually the plan is to get something here that we're going to get into that my brother can excel at. So eventually I can pull him out of that, little path that he's gotten carved out for him by other people, because to me, he's worth more than $140,000.
And isn't that funny how the roles have reversed? He goes to high school, does all these great things, gets a full ride scholarship to be able to go to college, get that paid for, gets the degree, steps into the work world, and then here you are, you've put $1 million in your personal bank account in the past 4 years, and now he's looking up to you saying, "Hey, how have you done it? How does this work?" It's completely different because you're making double the money that he's making without any college degree and zero college debt. And like I say, go back, his was paid for because of his athletic attributes. Mm-hmm. But if you went back and he actually paid for that degree, you're probably talking.
He would never see a return from the amount of student debt he would be in to do a 6-year program. He would never see the return based off of what he's doing now. It would take him forever to be able to pay off that loan.
Yeah, so you went to school with some folks that are in school. Some of them are starting to graduate now. What are they saying? What's the feedback from some of your friends, knowing that you're having the success that you're having? Like I say, a lot of people. And you knock doors for a living, correct, Colton?
Yes, sir, I do. Knock doors Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock to dark, on the dot. That's what we do here at SWAT. But, to the buddy you're talking about, his name's Ethan. He's getting into the construction world. And honestly, the only reason he got into the construction world is because we've been best friends since we graduated. He's like, "Well, I want to do what you're doing. You're making pretty good money." At the time, I just started getting my, feet wet. I probably made I think that first check I showed him was like $10,000. We both about had a cow, because $10,000 to me was a lot of money a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I think I'm going to get into that." Well, long story short, he gets his he graduates, gets his degree. He starts his new job. And his dad, between him and his dad, he said he's got like $140,000 worth of debt to go to Oklahoma State to get this degree. And, he just says, I work, he quote unquote, "You're going to work less than I am," which is not realistic. I work quite a bit more than people think I do. But it's not hard, intensive labor work, where you're really, and you don't have the opportunity to grow. Like, here.
You're creating relationships is what you're doing.
Your amount you can grow is all based on your relationships. And going through high school, all they teach you is, hey, you go to elementary school, then you go to middle school, Then you go to high school. Once you graduate high school, with your senior year, everybody has to apply for 3 colleges, or you get in trouble. It's like mandatory. You have to apply for 3 colleges, you get in trouble. Okay?
Really? So that's the
so
deal
they
now.
really they're really preaching, hey, college. They make it sound like that's the only option you have, and it's really not. I mean, I have multiple buddies that I have a buddy that's younger than me. He's 2 years younger than me. He actually owns his own landscaping business, and he's very successful, you know. And the only reason he's done that is because his father has a business and showed him how to, you know, do business. So realistically, all the schools and what they preach, you know, they don't ever talk to you about, why don't you go be a welder, you know, why don't you go be a pilot? You know, they don't ever tell you about the trades where the money's good.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
and they
about
always
go to
want to downplay it. You know, the money's good when it's good. That's the number one comment I hear as a roofer. Well, the money's good, it's good. Okay, well, hell, even if my money's not good for a year, that 5 months that it was good, I made 4 times your salary. So I'm good for that 6 months that it's quote unquote not good. But it's always good. It's all about what you want to make it.
Yeah, so it's a lot different now than when I was in school. You know, I'm a few years your senior, just a couple, obviously.
Just a couple now.
Yeah, just a couple. So, you know, when I was in school, a college degree was like a shoe-in to success.
Yeah.
That's what they preached when I was young, you know. And I was lost when I graduated high school. I didn't know if I was going to go to college. I was a great gifted athlete. Could have went to any college in the country. And I just, you know, I applied myself, but I wasn't about taking homework home. It wasn't my deal. It was like, hey, I want to infringe in your time in the classroom. Don't infringe on mine when I go home.
No,
so I wasn't a homework guy, you know, and I know you had the same struggles.
Definitely not a homework guy.
So now that you move forward in life and things are progressing the way that they are, do you feel like the school system's broken? Do you feel like they're pushing people into college? And what makes you think that they're pushing people that way? Why would they push people to college?
Everything's a money grab. I mean, college to me is a money grab because you're having these people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, and why can a 18-year-old go get a $100,000 loan for college with no credit? But why, when I went to go get my first truck with $100,000, you know, showing, hey, I've made $100,000 6 months into the year, why can I not get a truck when I've proved that I've made? But a person that has, you know,
the system's broken.
The system's broken. They're wanting you to go to college. We'll give you a loan to go to college, but we won't give you a loan to open a business or do anything else. Your credit's too bad. But you'll give me $120,000 to go to school. You know, that they're really pushing that, and it's not the only option you have. I mean, it sky's the limit. Really, whatever you can put yourself into, the relationships is what's gonna take you the farthest.
And that's a great point that you bring up. So for me, I wasn't taught that when I was young. School never taught you relationships. You have friends. They're like, oh, you're going to lose your friends when you go to college, go off to the workforce. And that's just kind of what they told us, you know. You don't realize how important relationships are. And now you see that firsthand with going out, socializing, being in front of people. I mean, you educate people every day. So it's kind of, you know, it's done, you know.
It's definitely changed me as a person, per se, because growing up, I had this is kind of where I was, you know, watched you grow. Used to have the I don't care what anybody thinks about me attitude. Right. Well, I've tried that for the past 22 years, and at the point where I'm at in my life, you have to really start caring. You not really care per se, but you have to make sure your armor's bulletproof, because whatever you have at the top, once you're at the top, people want to take you down. You know, you're the target. You're at the top, so you got to make sure in all aspects of your life you're squared away. You know, so for me, going from school, not caring about, you know, hey, I'm that dude on the football field. That's all that matters. You know, now it's, hey, is he clean? Is he clean cut? Is he squared away? Is he dressed nice? Is his truck nice? Is his truck clean? You know, because all that little stuff, people judge. It's a preconceived notion. Everybody does it. You know, you're not supposed to, but everybody does it anyways. So you have this idea of somebody before you even meet him. Like, I have an idea of him, and we barely even met, you know, 5 minutes ago. Because you build that, conceived notion.
Do you think the school system taught you anything that is true to what's going on in your life now as far as the workforce, meaning, the organization, the work ethic, all of those things? Did school teach that? Did they teach you how to manage money or anything like that?
No. So I'll be the first to say it. I'm the world's worst with my money. Was not taught in school how to do money.
Thank goodness you make a lot, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can always make more. Yeah. You need to worry about what you're making, not what you're spending.
That's
you can
right.
always make more.
Absolutely.
Go get it.
So with that being said, Colton, when it comes to managing your money, do you feel like the school system failed you on that? Not only making money, but when it comes to making $1 million, putting that in your bank account. Do you look
I
back
had to
and say
teach
somebody would have
myself
told you?
all the so like when I first tried to get my first loan from the bank for a vehicle, I didn't understand it. I didn't know how to calculate the APR. I didn't know what none of that meant. That stuff you should know, because not everybody's gonna follow that path that they're trying to force of college. So, and the school system is being broke because me not going to college, I went out in the world, didn't know what to do. I couldn't even understand a paper, and I'm a pretty smart guy, but those little three words that they turn into one little acronym.
That's right.
How are you supposed to? That's.
Well, luckily,
that's the school's job to teach you. That's what they're supposed to be doing, but they don't.
And we had relationships in the car business. So one of my best friends and fishing buddies runs a big dealership here. So I sent you his way, and he was able to explain it to you. And it's eye-opening because nobody teaches you that stuff.
You should, that knowledge every single person needs to know. But they're not teaching that in school, so why are they not? If school is really to educate you, not to make you into sheep, then really what is it for? Because I don't have that knowledge. I had to learn it myself.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of real-world knowledge that needs to be taught, whether it's trades.
I mean, they're worried about trigonometry, but the only people that use trigonometry is, like, people that build stuff for a living, like architects.
Yeah.
They're the only people that use stuff like that. They're so worried about that and being able to put a grade on something, when really, honestly, they should just focus on building relationships in school and showing people how to do business.
So if Colton could make a change with our school system, if you could make one change in the school system that you feel would benefit our youth in coming out of high school, what would that one thing be? If you could walk into the school system and say, I have an idea, this is going to change everybody's plan moving forward, it gives them another option, what would that be?
My plan would be to go to Saginaw High School during all 3 periods of their lunches and hold a conference and show people and educate people that isn't the only option out there. And just because you don't go to college doesn't mean you're not going to make a lot of money and be successful. I'm a prime example. And the reason I want to start there is because that's where my journey started for me. So I want to be able to help, the community that I grew up in. I want to help them come up too, because nobody wants to be stuck in the same place forever. We're supposed to be in America. This is, supposed to be dreamers here. And if you're not dreaming, then you're not living life. You're just surviving.
Sure. And I know I've learned a lot, even being older school. We didn't have YouTube, social media platforms, and things like that. But now you have the Grant Cardones of the world, Brandon Dawson. There's some other folks out there that are on social media platforms that seem to bring a lot of value, because I listen to these guys and they have different podcasts and different platforms that they're presenting. And, it's real world stuff that they're preaching out there that can be a huge benefit. So I look at that, and then I look at the school system, and you said it beautifully, is they're teaching algebra, trigonometry, these things that you don't use in real world scenarios. Very few people do, but it's like one size fits all. And that's certainly not the case. My shirt's not the same size as yours. Yep. They're totally different, but everybody's being pushed into this
Everybody's being pushed down this one little funnel, and there's a lot more funnels than just one, because every person's not meant to go down the same funnel. It's just the way it works.
And congratulations to you, because, it says a lot being at your age, being able to keep the wheels on this thing, go to work, being motivated, being focused, and doing your part to give back to society. I know you help some of your family members and people in the community, and that's a big deal, and a lot of people miss that side of the coin too, that when you start making generational wealth and life-changing money, you're able to give back and do things, give to the local school district, sit on
one of the coolest things I ever actually got to do, as we talked about earlier, I didn't have a lot of money growing up. So the first year I graduated high school, I'm a big sports guy, obviously. Well, my sister's a volleyball coach at a select volleyball club. And I met, a couple of parents, and, I got to see their kids play, because I sold quite a bit of business there. There's a lot of business up there. So I'd go around and watch. Well, anyways, there's just a younger girl. She's a super good athlete, really good. But her parents, they lived in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house over in Saginaw, real old. Couldn't afford it. And you watch this girl, she put in the effort, blah, blah, blah. Well, long story short, at the end of that day, I walked up to the lady and told her I would write a check for her daughter to play for that $6,000 volleyball team. And I didn't even know him. But it was so important to me because I've been in a situation where I couldn't play a sport because we didn't have the money. So I didn't want that kid to have to go through that. So I'm like, her name's Kelly. I walked up to her and said, Miss Kelly, would you mind if I played for your daughter to play volleyball? And that, it really changed because that was the first time I ever really got told thanks for something, because it used to, it's everybody else doing it for me, but it finally felt good to be successful enough to give back to somebody else, because as my job, you gave to me and showed me all these things. So I think, it's only fair that I do it for other people, because it's got to be a trend that continues, or else it's not going to ever grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, you seeing me on the side of entrepreneurship, working with me, looking at the school system, could you imagine stepping into the world and not getting a job working for someone else and opening up your own business? You see behind the curtains of our businance and what we go through. Could you imagine what that would look like?
Just on my short run, I tried to do something, actually as a recent, actually didn't pan out too bad, but the amount of stress and worries that why would I try to go do something on myself when I got somebody trying to hand me the keys to show me how to make all the money I want to make? Is it cool to say you did something by yourself? Yeah. But really, at the end of the day, I could never really say I 100% truly did it by myself, because all the knowledge I got comes from somebody else. So once I kind of learned that, for me, it was the biggest thing I'm trying to learn personally right now. Arrogance holds like a lot of successful people back. And that's something that I'm purposely trying to work on, is not being arrogant. Because, and I may not even may mean to be arrogant because of how old I am. It comes across as, oh my God, this guy's,
you're young, you're making $250,000.
This guy's a hot rod. Yeah. He doesn't know. He's just come in here, got lucky. And it really lowers the way people look at me. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change that, because if I can change that, then when people come in our doors, wanting that opportunity, sky's the limit. Hey, this 22-year-old, no weaknesses in his armor. He makes $500,000 a year. Why wouldn't you want to be like that? I need to set the example.
And people say you're lucky. I hear that all the time as well. People say, oh, you're lucky. They don't realize the hardships and perseverance. And let me say this, Colton. Looking back, how nice would it have been to have a roadmap to be able to get you've seen success really quickly, but you said recently you started your own little gig, got it going, you realized how difficult it was. Tell me the playbook that's out there that you got from your high school, from your brother going to college. Could you imagine your brother opening
If I had to take a playbook and open a successful business right out of high school, I couldn't succeed. There's no way. I wasn't taught the people skills. I've always been a personal person, but you still have certain skills when you go into business, and certain knowledge that you need to know that they don't teach in skill, like how to talk about, what's professional as far as a business transaction goes, how you need to carry yourself, and what's unprofessional.
Business etiquette.
They don't teach you that. And really, a safe investment either, they don't teach you that, because they don't talk about investments at all. Well, a business is an investment.
Sure.
So if they're not talking about an investment, and they're not talking about a business, I have no knowledge except for what I can find on the internet or a book. So at that point, no. If I was right out of high school, there's no way. Without the roadmap that you've given me and shown me to do what I do, there's no way. And there's plenty of people out here that have their own roadmaps that are successful as well. For those people that don't want to go to college, there's plenty of opportunities out there, because nowadays people are trying to show the roadmap, because they notice, hey, the more people I show the roadmap, the bigger we can blow this thing up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you said it, and that's the key to it, is there's other options available to people other than going to school, spending $150,000, $250,000.
Just off the top of my head, just from not including the roofing business, I can tell you right now, because of being in this business, I've gotten to see other businesses and how they operate and how much they're making. And I can tell you right now, a septic company, you're going to make a lot of money. Anything in septic, you're going to make a lot of money. Anything in solar, you're going to make a lot of money. Anything in HVAC, anything in the service industry, people are willing to pay for. People pay for service. Money's the only issue in the absence of value. So if you can bring the value and you can bring the service, there's no way you can't become successful.
Absolutely. And working together with a group of people sure makes it easier. And especially when you get the roadmap and you know you're going the right direction with the right people, makes it a lot of fun along the way. So we appreciate you being here and being
Yes,
on
sir.
the
Thank you.
podcast with us, the No Education Podcast. This has been a lot of fun with you, Colton, and
Yes, sir.
congratulations on your success. $250,000 a year at 22 years of age.
Only going
man,
up.
Yeah, you're doing something right. So
Shooting for $500,000 this year.
yeah, well, congratulations. Keep fighting a good fight, and we'll definitely do a follow-up and see how your future plans are going and let us know how we can help you.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
What a great interview today with Colton. If you guys are wondering what you can do with your future, whether you went to college, have not gone to college, there's a lot of options available to you out there that I don't think the school system has done justice to and allowed us the opportunity to get involved with them. As you can see with Colton today, he has been able to not only get involved in the community and change other people's lives, he's been able to change his family's lives, and those opportunities are available to you. So on what we're going to do here on the No College podcast here is we're going to continue to interview remarkable people that are out making big things happen in their communities and their work life. And, if you're sitting behind a desk, you're making, normal money like everybody else, and you continue to go to the grind and you wonder, how can I get out of this? Whether you got a college degree or not, it doesn't take anything but someone to help you. And don't do it alone. Don't think that you have to do it alone. So get involved with people in your community. Get involved with leadership programs. Watch some of the other podcasts out there. Keep an eye on our podcast and what we got going on, because we're going to be doing other interviews as well that's going to show you the keys to success. And there's many options available other than going to college. So don't get a $250,000 debt bill and think that was the only way, and then get an $80,000 a year job and wonder, hey, how do I get this paid off? So there's other options available to you out there.